So you're trying to find those later guys that have high upside. Today I'm bringing you 3 guys that I truly believe that are getting overlooked, underdrafted in your underdogs or home leagues that have significant upside coming into the 2023 season. Comment down below. Comment down below and let me know who you think has a significantly higher upside than their ADP right now. And as always, go to flockfantasy.com/land, the best place to support what Zach and I are doing here. So many good things are happening. The site is improving week in and week out, and we're adding more content creators, as you can see, on with the fantasy/dynasty domain. So definitely go check them out. But once again, flockfantasy.com. Not only do you get our rankings, bonus articles, and content, or bonus content, you get so much more when signing up using our promo code LAND. So make sure you go there and get 30% off at sign up. Before I get into it, I just want to let you guys know some of these guys are going in the middle of the rounds, so maybe like round 7, 8, 9, and some of these guys could be potentially going undrafted or in the very last pick of your redraft leagues or your underdog league. So definitely keep that in mind. So with that being said, my first guy that I truly believe has, late round upside, that is Alvin Kamara, running back 33 in the community. He's my RB 32, and I think he's going to continue to rise as we really understand and what's going to be unfolding as all this information comes out. Excuse me. So yes, the elephant in the room, he's probably going to get suspended, right? Essentially, he pled guilty. He has to do community service, pay all this money. And when that does happen, maybe when the NFL and Roger Goodell really gives him his suspension, whether it's 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, once he does come back, we know his upside. We know what he can be and what he can do. And I'm not necessarily worried about Kendre Miller or Jamal Williams, because this is Alvin Kamara. This is a guy that has been leading the league in receptions multiple years, or been a top 5 guy in receptions, has finished as, top 5 running backs, top 10 running backs, depending on the year, in the running back position. And I think that's going to continue when he does come back. Going as the RB 33, I think easily when he comes back, if he does get suspended hypothetically for 6 games, he can easily outperform his ADP. He can easily be somebody that is going to be a PPR threat and a goal line opportunity guy when he does come back. And yes, Kendre Miller is there. I don't necessarily see his opportunity taking over this year in year 1, maybe in the first 6 weeks, hypothetically, once again, when Alvin Kamara does get suspended. But I do believe when Alvin Kamara does come back, he loses that workload. He loses those opportunities. And even if, once again, hypothetically, a lot of hypotheticals here, even if Alvin Kamara gets dropped, a team is going to pick him up when suspended or after the 6 week suspension or 6 week suspension, and you're going to see his utilization when he does go or wherever he does go. So Alvin Kamara, once again, historically has always been a top guy, right? 2017 RB3, 3rd in targets. 2018 RB4, 4th in targets. 2019 RB9, 4th in targets, right? 2020 RB1, 2nd in targets. 2021 RB8, 6th, and 2022 RB16, 5th in targets. Look, even though the percentage of the Alvin Kamara's usage has dropped in the past couple years since Dennis Allen has taken over, he has still finished as a top RB8 in 2021 and RB in 2022. Obviously, he missed a couple games, but he still had a top 5 finish in targets amongst running backs, meaning that he's getting that PPR opportunity, meaning that he is still going to be utilized as a pass catching back, and I'm not worried about that. And if you're worried about Alvin Kamara's age, he's only 27 years old, with somebody that doesn't have a lot of injury history. Games, and even those years that he played, the most games that he missed was 4 games in 2021, and he finished as the RB8 that year. I mean, this past year he finished as the RB16. He missed 2 games. So my worries is not necessarily concerned about Alvin Kamara aging. My worries is about how Dennis Allen is going to utilize him. But even if he gets the minimum of what he got this past year at 65% in 2022, there's no doubt in my mind, even as he finishes RB16, he can be a top 15 running back coming into the 2023 season. And that already is outperforming his ADP on underdog. And he can be right now being drafted as an RB3, sometimes RB4 on teams with high upside. So I'll be drafting Alvin Kamara in so many redraft leagues if I possibly can. My second player with late round high upside is kind of controversial, and this is maybe a little bit of a homer pick, And look, there's so many options that I can pick here. And this is Paris Campbell. And this may not be sexy. This could be a guy that can be going undrafted in your home leagues, and is probably going drafted in the late rounds of underdog drafts just to get stacks, just to have high upside if Daniel Jones takes off, and Paris Campbell is the guy. But right now on underdog, he's wide receiver 78. He is my wide receiver 70. The reason why I'm choosing Paris Campbell to truly be, I guess you can say, this wide receiver one of this offense is because he has to compete with people in the slot, right? You think of the people that he's competing with. He's competing with Jamison Crowder, Sterling Shepard, and Wan'Dale Robinson. Something that's interesting about Paris Campbell was he was a former second-round pick coming out of Ohio State. Now, what's interesting about that is the way he was utilized and the way he can be utilized. And he was utilized primarily as a slot wide receiver. And that's exactly what you want to see in this Brian Daboll, Joe Shane, Mike Kafka type of offense. Now, if Wan'Dale Robinson is not ready coming off an ACL tear that he suffered in October, and if Sterling Shepard is not ready coming also from an ACL that happened, I would say a little bit earlier in that year, then Paris Campbell is leading that wide receiver slot role. Now, Jamison Crowder, in my projections, he's not going to make this team. He is somebody that you're going in, bringing friendly competition. And maybe he does make the team purely based off of the timeline of Sterling Shepard and Wan'Dale Robinson. But if not, we can see the opportunities that Paris Campbell can have coming into the season in 2023, right? When you look into this opportunity, look, Paris Campbell historically has been terrible, right? Let's really think about it. He has been ridiculed with injury history. 2019, only played 7 games out of the 16. 2020, only played 2 games, missed the whole season. 2021, played 6 games. His first year playing a full 17 slate games was this past year in 2022, and he finished as wide receiver 48, excuse me. So look, it's not sexy. It doesn't seem sexy. But what if he has an Isaiah Hodgins type of season where in the stint he can be a top 20 guy or a top 25 guy? It's not a sexy outlook, but I'm looking at Paris Campbell as a flex option. A mid wide receiver 3, somebody that can really bring the upside if the injury history doesn't come back up coming into the 2023 season. And one of the biggest things that this offense really wants to do is throw the ball more. One of the biggest struggles this past year was that, wow, we have Richie James, we picked up Isaiah Hodgins, we have Darius Slayton. Who else do we have? Wan'Dale Robinson got injured, and then it kind of all fell down from there. Paris Campbell could easily be the starting slot wide receiver for the New York Giants, where clearly Darren Waller is going to be the #1 target. Darius Slayton is going to be the deep ball threat, with obviously Saquon Barkley in the backfield if he doesn't hold out, hopefully. So once again, it's not a sexy name, but somebody that is worth looking in your waiver wires. If you've already done your redraft leagues, maybe early, maybe pick him up, stash him. Or if you haven't drafted yet, maybe he is a last pick type of guy in your home leagues once again. So if you can, Paris Campbell, keep an eye on him going into the 2023 season. My next high upside guy in the tight end position that I really believe is getting overlooked and underdrafted, and that is Cole Kmet, currently tight end 16 on Underdog, my tight end 13, and someone that sometimes is getting undrafted in home leagues specifically, or one of the last picks in home leagues, or getting drafted as a 3rd tight end in your Underdog leagues. I really believe he has high upside coming into the 2023 season. That's purely based off Justin Fields and what this offense is going to be looking like going into this year. This offensive line gets better with Darnell Wright and all the other pieces that they bring in. DJ Moore is now part of this offense. Now you have Cole Kmet, Darnell Mooney, and Justin Fields has a plethora of opportunities to throw to. But Cole Kmet is a guy that he looked for a lot last year in the flat, in areas where he couldn't really go to when it was going deep ball down the field, or times where the line was breaking way too easily and he had to scramble a little bit more. Cole Kmet could easily be a safety blanket for Justin Fields going into the 2023 season. Last year, weeks 8 to 18, Cole Kmet was the tight end 4. this past year, which is absolutely wild. Cole, 38 out of 51, nearly 400 yards and 7 touchdowns. He was second amongst tight ends in the touchdown category, right behind George Kittle. And if you just look at the whole season in the touchdown perspective, Cole Kmet was third amongst tight ends with Travis Kelce, George Kittle, and then Cole Kmet that year. He finished as a tight end 8 this year as a whole. Kind of flew under the radar. In the second half of the season, he was a league-winning guy that felt really comfortable for you to draft and really solidify, right? He was averaging over 10 fantasy points per game as a tight end that you drafted in the late rounds. I think that is something that he can step into again this year, and maybe that takes another step forward. Maybe that's a 12 point per game, excuse me. Maybe that stint is a little bit longer instead of from 18 to 18. Maybe it's a full year with a little bit more consistencies, a little bit more target opportunities. He was only averaging, 3.8 receptions with 5 targets in that span. I think that can continue. That is something that I truly believe in, and that is a tight end I really believe has high upside in your fantasy leagues this year. So once again, Cole Kmet, Paris Campbell, and Alvin Kamara, 3 guys I truly believe have high upside. Comment down below and let me know which guys that I haven't mentioned that have high upside in your mind. So like, comment, subscribe. Let's have a conversation in the comments. And as always, it's all love.
Now that those idiots are done talking, who needs some rankings?
Hell yeah, I need some rankings.
Then use promo code LAND, L-A-N-D, for 30% off any membership at flockfantasy.com.
Oh.
It's so easy. Even your grandma could scan that QR code right there.